to see based off of right here who shows up. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm letting everyone know that this call is being recorded, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Rebecca.
Hi, everybody. How are all of you guys doing today? We are here setting up this is a great workshop. We ask for everybody. So it's all about making sure you guys are prepared for the reopen and that the training and everything that you need to make sure that your staff is aware of and what products to use, we're bringing that to you. And today I wanted to make sure I introduced to you Sean Tomlin, who is actually going to be our first speaker. We also have Sunina here as well, but from Sun Medical, but we're going to have Sean go ahead and start first. Now, Sean has been producing, consulting, and serving in various executive roles for the last 25 years across cable network television, digital media, e-learning, and technology. He is a 5-time Emmy Award winner and 2-time Telly Award winning producer focused on media and education that transforms people and organizations. So Sean, thank you so much for taking your time out to help us give this workshop to our businesses.
Great. Thank you, Rebecca, for that awesome introduction. I'm going to just walk through a little bit about what I do and what my recent experience has been in training companies on all things COVID. I'm currently working on a project for the state of Utah where we're training 12,000 plus small business manufacturers in the state of Utah, all code compliance, sanitization, protocols, new laws, employee relations, etc. So I'm going to walk through some of that and just first tell you a little bit about the company. And I just want to make sure everyone can hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay,
We're
great.
good.
Great. So just a little bit about what I do in my company. So I work with a software developer called Fulcrum Labs. They've created an award-winning software system that allows for companies to do training online, and it also works for educators as well. So this has become a really big industry as schools are looking to do schooling online and for businesses to do training. They've got many, many awards for innovation and what they do. You see some of those awards up there are basically the equivalent of the Oscar awards in e-learning and technology. And then my company takes the curriculum and works people, instructional designers, and puts all of that into their system and deploys that. So we've got multiple Emmys across documentary filmmaking and in the corporate space as well as the e-learning space. So that's a little bit about the two companies. Again, my company here is Equanimity Media. So what we'll explore today, and I'm going to try to keep it brief, but I really want to give people some just good information and a little bit of a lay of the land of what's happening today. The first thing I want to talk about is why adaptive learning, which is the type of technology we use, is a must-have for all businesses, and a little bit about some ways to approach training your staff on all things COVID policies, procedures, and guidelines. And third, leaving you with some thoughts about the health and well-being of your employees and how important that is today, especially with what's happening. So I think a way to approach and how we approach using online training, whether we're teaching staff how to adhere to all these different policies and procedures for COVID, or if you're a company, maybe you're treating sexual harassment training or diversity training, or you're just teaching your sales team how to be better, more effective selling agents. The old way that we've kind of been doing for the last couple hundred years is really to teach in the middle. And that leaves a lot of people out. So when we teach in the middle, we really leave that bottom level there feeling anxious or left out. These are maybe the learners that are struggling a little bit and need more attention and personalized teaching. And then on the top end, we have maybe the learner who's really getting a lot of the information very easily, and they're comprehending easier. So they become more bored and disengaged because they don't feel challenged. And that what ends up happening is we just teach those people in that green section, the middle, the way that we train through using technology to cover all everybody 100%, and that we don't leave anybody out. The other thing with the old way of training, and I'm seeing this right now a lot as I'm seeing how businesses are trying to get into training their staff on all these new laws and procedures, is what they're doing is they're either training them in person or they're deploying training to managers, and then managers are then taking that information and deploying it to their employees. And what happens is you start off with apples, and then like a case of bad phone, the manager got part of it, then they go to train the staff. And by the time you get to the staff, you're training something totally different, and there's a lot of gaps in information exchange. So this is really, really important today as we're trying to make sure that our employees are remembering all of these different protocols and procedures. The other thing to keep in mind that there's a lot of science behind how we learn. So when we go to school or we take any type of course, we generally forget everything we learned. So you can see by this chart, by day one, we've probably only retained about 80% of what we learned. And by the time we get a week later at 7 days, we'll only retain about 20% of what we learned. And this is a really big problem. We're all used to in school, we crammed really hard, we studied and we took our test and we got that grade, and then we excelled to the next level or we graduated. And there was really no sort of need or test of whether we remembered those things in the real world. In the business environment, we have to remember these things. So the forgetting curve is something that we want to really change, and that's can really only be done through really effective teaching and using the technology, so that we're really getting to a point where we're retaining more like 80 to 100% of what we learned, because at this point, these things really matter. There's the kind of training we're probably used to, which is what we call LMS, or learning management system. So if anyone's taken traffic school, or let's say you had to get your real estate license, or you did any kind of online course, you probably used an LMS platform, which is just a record keeper. So you take a test, you get a question wrong, you get a score, and then you either end up at pass or fail. And with adaptive learning, which is the software that we use, we want to get you to mastery. So that path will be customized based on your learning experience. So some of us get certain concepts very easily, and some of us might have more of a challenge. So the way that the training works is it really works to customize your learning experience. So you might be served a question multiple times or in different ways to really ensure that you got a concept, because the end game is that you end up retaining and remembering, and then in the business, you want to actually apply what you learned to the workplace. The system that we use when we're training is we keep in mind that we all learn different. So some of us love to read, and that's just how we remember and retain information. Others, we really love video or visuals, and this is really the case with millennials that are really leveraging YouTube and videos to learn skills. And some of us also prefer to just listen. So as you can know, audiobooks and podcasts have absolutely exploded. So we all learn different. So in the way that we deliver our training, it gives the learner an opportunity to either read, watch, listen, or practice, which is take the tests. And this is really has a great impact on how we actually comprehend concepts and retain those. I wanted to share with you, so just as I said at the top, I'm currently producing COVID training for businesses for over 12,000 businesses in Utah. And this has been a massive eye-opener for me. I always believed in online training and online schooling, but now I really understand how in the COVID environment, this is absolutely essential. The US Chamber now considers COVID-19 related lawsuits as the biggest area of concern and the biggest threat to US businesses. So we're already seeing lawsuits in states, both from consumers on class actions and from employees, as either consumers or employees are contracting COVID in the workplace. And regardless of whether those claims are meritless or not, it is forcing businesses to defend themselves and still hire lawyers and in many cases have a settlement. So something so simple as forgetting a certain how to wear a mask or some element of cross-contamination can be so easy to avoid with this really effective training. And that is something that's a big concern. Also with online training, it's measurably more effective than other methods. And so we see this when we do training for all kinds of Fortune 500 companies and airlines. It also reduces staff exposure. So businesses are being, it's being mandated that they do everything they can to limit physical exposure and exposure to other employees. So packing 100 employees into a room and then doing in-person training is really not an option today. The online training also reduces costs and increases efficiency. And one of the biggest things to consider with the COVID training is the standards, compliances, policies, and guidelines are changing literally every day. It's really tough for a business to keep track of that. So when we build these programs, we take on the responsibility of keeping track of maybe OSHA or you have new guidelines, and we'll update that in the training so you can easily deploy that to your employees versus having to round everybody up again, hope everyone's going to be there that day, and communicate that. I wanted to share this with you because regardless of whether you're doing online training or you're actually going to be engaged in training for your workplace, there's just a three really, I think, important takeaways. And again, this comes from myself doing this with a lot of different companies and just doing our own kind of on the ground research as we've looked at businesses and see what they're faced with. The number one thing that we're seeing today is complacency. So I was just in Las Vegas meeting with their chamber, and we walked several of the casinos. I was joined with a dear friend of mine who's a federal prosecutor with the Department of Justice. And I said, hey, do you have a couple hours? Let's go do our own investigative reporting. And we went interviewed employees, and this is only 4 days after the casinos opened up. And what we saw was there was already forgetfulness. They were stopped wearing their masks in some cases. A lot of the things that they were taught only 4 days ago, they were already forgetting. So this complacency can be a huge risk for a business because one wrong move, a guest sees you and you're not wearing your mask, and then they catch COVID. They maybe snap a photo of that, put it on Instagram, or use it in a trial. You could have so easily avoided that by making sure that your staff understand the magnitude of this and really understand how the virus works. The other big takeaway is that if you're going to train and you have a business, let's say that's more than 10 people, it's great to have kind of what I would call a COVID ambassador or a compliance officer. You can come up with really your own creative name for that, but the idea is to give someone kind of sure your workplace is you're in compliance. You've got someone to take ownership of that and keep track of that, because it really is kind of a job unto itself. And without assigning someone to be responsible for it, you're likely to see some gaps. And the third thing is, I think, have a playbook. So have a plan of all of your kind of prevention and protocols written down and in place. And it's a living document that will change as things change, but it's great to have that as sort of a user's manual. I will try to be very brief on this, but when we deliver training, we deliver it in think of two channels. One is to the owners and managers. And in that training, we really go over all the legal risks and pitfalls and give you some of the precedents and case studies of what's happening in terms of liability and how much responsibility a business now has, because it's a very different situation and some of those laws don't necessarily align exactly with current work laws. We'll go over everything you see on the screen. So issues as far as individual rights and privacy laws, as we have to do contact tracing and do temperature reads with both guests and customers, self-quarantining, all the customer-facing initiatives and best practices that we've pulled from businesses. So a ton of stuff here, but really, really helpful for all owners and managers. And then on the employee side, we have a training specifically for them that really breaks down the basics of the virus, how it spreads. So they really understand that on a fundamental level, so that everything they learn after isn't just this redundant sort of rote policies and procedures that they just end up just not wanting to even remember because they don't really even understand how the virus spreads and how it works. And we found this even from OSHA and the CDC that there's some room for improvement in people, the education of cross-contamination and a lot of the things that are being overlooked. So I'm kind of wrapping it up here. No training means less gaining. maybe kind of a hokey way to put this, but if you don't have your staff trained, or if you do have a good, well-trained staff, you have higher employee, or you have less employee turnover. If you don't have training, you have higher sick days, less profits, and more liability. And again, this more liability is really the biggest area of concern. So even as some businesses have said, well, Sean, looks like this thing's kind of cooling off. I think COVID's going to be yesterday's news. The reality is we're almost for certain going to have a second and a third wave. And even if we don't, one case in the workplace or one customer that can contract it, again, even if it's meritless, this really puts everybody at risk. And I'm going to leave this with this point, and this I think is so important, and maybe everyone has thought about this, but what we're finding is this is affecting everybody differently. And we really have to keep this in mind as we're working with our employees and we're delivering this kind of training. And we have to understand that there's so many things we're dealing with behind the scenes that none of us are aware of. And it could be a financial crisis at home. It could be a loss of a friend or family, or maybe you had someone pass away and you weren't even able to attend that funeral, and what kind of stress that provides. Obviously kids and partners at home, that creates a new dynamic and a level of complexity. And I think the biggest one is a lot of bad news in the media, and there's absolute definitive scientific research that tells that has a real impact on all of our well-being and our state of mind when we come into the workplace. So really important not only to consider all these things for yourself as you're running a business, but also for your employees, and just being really mindful of all of the level of this crisis and what we're all dealing with, and just being as compassionate as you can. So that's kind of my overview for this. And I know we're going to have some Q&A time at the end, but I want to, if you've got some ideas and questions, jot them down. And I'm going to pass to Sonaina, who's got some great information on a lot of the products in terms of PPE and sanitization and other COVID-related items. So thank you for everyone's time, and I hope I did not blast through that too fast, but I know I want to leave enough time for Q&A, so thank you, everybody.
You're up.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I am Sonaina, and as you notice, we just threw on our masks.
Because we got an alert
We
that
did.
actually the governor just made it mandatory for everybody who is dealing with anyone has to wear them all the time.
So we highly recommend business owners to have masks available for your employees. Can everybody hear us okay? Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
So I wanted to share a little bit about us. We've been making a presence out here in Coachella Valley for a few years now. I'm with Sun Medical Supplies. We are a DME, durable medical equipment. We are based out of Redlands, but we service the entire Inland Empire. We work with a lot of doctors' offices out here, a lot of physical therapists, a lot of the small clinics. Once we found out what was happening with this COVID crisis, we quickly had to shift gears on helping our communities with products that they can get. So what I wanted to share with you folks today is the real life panic that happens in our store every day. We get everyone from business owners to the public, the police department, everybody on front line. They walk in with that panic. What do I need? What can I do to not only protect myself, but protect my family? And that's a big thing. So as businesses are slowly opening, what we want to be is we want to be a source. We want to find out what is it that you're having a hard time getting your hands on, and what questions do you have? And also we want to make sure when people are buying products, they're buying the right things. So
Here, I can turn it. I'll be Vanna. You go and tell. So Sonaina brought a bunch of items here so that we can show you exactly what they look like. Can you guys see that okay?
So as of today, what everyone's talking about is if you have a business and you are working with the public, they are making it mandatory that all employees must wear a mask. So when people have all these questions about masks, we've got your basic disposable masks. Everybody's been seeing these. These are not really meant to keep wearing day after day after day. That's like the one thing that we see is people will buy a box of 50 and they're trying to recycle these masks. It's not really sanitary to do that. The whole point of this is wear it While you're in contact with somebody, take it off and throw it away. Everybody's been asking about these. These are your N95 masks. These are better to get. They have been hard in the past to get, but as time goes on, these are becoming more available for the general public. We, as a medical equipment company, we got an alert that once we got these in, to just kind of hold them off for anyone on the front line or the hospitals, but we're starting to get more to where we can offer them to the public. So as a business owner, if you have these and you can give them to your employees, especially if you're seeing everyone, these are really good to
And
get.
those are reusable.
I mean, you can disinfect them and clean them, but still, these usually come in a pack of 50. I would really recommend that people don't keep using the same mask over and over again. Even these reusable masks, take them, they need to be washed every day. Hand wash them, but clean them. The whole point is, yeah, you want to keep yourself protected, you want to keep everybody else protected, but I've met so many business owners and so many people out in the public. I'm like, when's the last time you washed your mask? A week ago? That's not doing it. That's not helping, right? Face shields. Have you guys seen these? These are great if you are working with the public. Yeah, they might look a little annoying, but it's another barrier of protection. When we have these at our store, we're dealing with the elderly, we're dealing with everybody, and people don't realize what they're doing. We have the plastic barriers up, but even when we're passing bags to people and someone's sneezing, coughing, people are doing it out of habit. A lot of people do this out of habit, and then they're going to shake your hand, whatever it is. Gloves along with these are a great tool as a face mask.
So what's the difference in some of the hand sanitizers?
So hand sanitizers, the main thing that you want to look for, what CDC recommends, is when you're looking for hand sanitizer, make sure it is at least 60% alcohol based. What I've been seeing out there, even on Facebook, on Instagram, and all these places, is a lot of these people are saying, I'm making my own sanitizer. Okay, but are you willing to trust somebody just making it in a garage and you don't know what the alcohol content is? The whole point of this is to sanitize everything within a couple of seconds and not just dropping it on 2 or 3 fingertips. It's almost like we have to go back to, you know, how we teach kindergartners. How do you wash your hands properly with the soap? You're putting it all in between all of your fingertips, washing front, back. All of that is what we want to do with our hand sanitizer. So for business owners, what we tell them, essentially what you need is a nice starter pack. You want to get something like, I'll come back.
Sorry.
We have gallon size hand sanitizer. These are 70%. So we have them in dispensers. We have them like this with the pump. You just want this available to where all your employees and any guests that are coming in, that you always have a plethora of hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer now also comes in wipes. So these are almost like baby wipes, but they're made for your hands, where it's still 70% alcohol in these.
Okay, we have a question. Go, Steve, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tell me your first name again, please.
Sanina.
I'm sorry?
Sanina. You've met me a lot of times, Steve.
Yep. Well, with the mask on, I didn't recognize it. Wanted to go, I ran into something this last weekend that there was a pump, a sanitizer dispenser, but it was, I don't think it was motion activated. I think it just crossed.
Right.
It was and I'm just picturing the other ones that I've used. Okay, let's just say I have the virus and I reach over and push the thing down. I get the nice sanitizer. And okay, now I'm clean, but I still have the virus. But so does the next person that touches that pump, or at least they'll have contact with that. What kind of price are we talking about? Is it prohibitive to have those ones that automatically dispense without any touching?
The problem is right now, all of those dispensers that are the automatic ones, they're getting harder and harder to get, if you can only imagine. Yeah. Even with us as a medical equipment company, we have our orders almost 3 months on back order.
Well,
so right now,
there's a workaround. If you just have the sanitation wipes next to the pump with a little sign that recommends you put that in your hand, like when you leave a bathroom, it's nice when a garbage can is within a 2-point shot, right? You use the the napkin or the towel, paper towel, to open up the door.
Right, and
You
throw
tuck
it.
your napkin. Just a little protocol, little kind of best practice. But as long as I'm
Right.
taken away, let me mention something we discovered yesterday. These inexpensive ones that we find for maybe $1 each, something like that. My wife accidentally put one in the washing machine. Came out just great. Thought it would disintegrate it, but I just tossed them in the washing machine.
That's not recommended, but okay. Okay, so go ahead, Sanaya.
Well, it is in our house.
Yeah, we want to make sure that Sanaya gets through everything too, Steve.
That's
So
okay.
yeah.
I'm done. I'm back to mute.
Okay.
That's okay. We recommend if you have an office setting where there's cubicles, where you have a lot of employees in, just like us, we have a whole billing department. We're doing social distancing there. What we're also doing is making sure every employee has a little hand sanitizer at their station. CDC is recommending that you also are doing employee breaks just to wash your hands. It sounds silly, but you can't, we're in this day and age where we have to. We have to protect everybody in our workplace and everybody leaving because they're taking this all back to their families. CDC is also recommending that you actually have 1 or 2 people on staff nowadays to actually go and disinfect everything. Countertops, if people are using your keypad to take debit cards and whatnot, door handles, everything, 2 to 3 times a day to just go and actually disinfect anything like that. So for things like that, we actually have germicidal cleaner, which is something you can buy as a gallon, but you can dilute it. So it's got a little formula on the back here that says 1 to 2 tablespoons per so much water. This is something that you can use as a spray to disinfect surfaces. We've got things that are gonna actually disinfect upholstery. A lot of people don't think about that. We need to.
There is one thing I want everybody to know too, is you're showing these certain brands, but you guys don't get hung up on the brand. You need to read the back label.
We do not get hung up on the brand, because if you can only imagine with this panic that's happening, the second we get something and we post it, we try not to post it on our website anymore, because we have a lot of customers just trying to buy it on the website and it gets sold like in 5 minutes. So what we do is we're looking at the content. What is in this? Is this alcohol based? Is this hydrogen peroxide based? What's in it? Another thing that everybody needs to know, which I highly recommend, is on the back of every bottle. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to pull it up as close as I can. There's an EPA registered number. It gives you a product number. So on CDC, you can actually go and put this number in, and it'll show you a whole list of the name of the product, how many minutes does it take to actually disinfect the surface, what are the key ingredients in it. So yeah, in a perfect world, we all want something that's 1 minute. Let's disinfect everything in 1 minute, but hard to come by. We recommend do something that's anything from like 5 minutes down. Some things are 7 minutes, but those are things that you want to use, you know, the night prior that you're disinfecting. Is someone asking a question?
Yeah. Where do you buy the gallon size hand sanitizer? I need it in 2 days.
We have all this available at our store. I have one on me today that I brought just for show, but it's available for sale. We send everything out, and you're more than welcome to come pick it up at our store.
How much is it?
I think the gallon hand sanitizers are around $50.
And that gives you how many diluted, because you can't, that's diluted, or is that straight?
No, this is straight. This is straight gel-based hand sanitizer. You don't want to dilute this. This is something that you can put in your
Kelly wants you to save it for her.
Okay.
And Kelly was the one I want you to meet.
Okay.
Okay.
Soap.
Oh yeah, tell them
Soap. Antibacterial soap, and then there's Clorox Aloe Guard, the antimicrobial soap. These are hospital grade. A little goes a long way. So when you're thinking about disinfecting, we can't just have.
Okay, go ahead.
Somebody asking?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Yeah.
You know, we just want to make sure businesses are covered in all aspects. Disinfecting, you want to do your countertops, you want to think about your soap, you want to do masks, you also want to think about gloves. I'm not wearing gloves right this second, but I have a car full of gloves. And all of our employees at our workplace, we all are wearing the nitrile gloves, which are thicker, they last longer. If you're working in a restaurant, I urge you guys to tell all your employees, if you are handling credit cards, you're handling anybody, those gloves are meant to wear once, rip them off, and throw them away. Now, when we're talking about somebody on staff coming to clean up, you don't want bags and bags and
There's
things
no
that's
sound.
contaminated.
I don't know why there's no sound.
Oh.
We're not on mute.
Oh, we can
so-
hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, because
Okay.
I have someone saying that there's no sound. So I just wanted to make sure. We have Joanne or Joe who said that there is no sound. So,
Okay.
okay.
We,
Or the audio button, Joe.
like Sean said, as of right now, the rules are changing. I swear they're changing like every couple of hours on what we need, because what they thought was going to go away, it hasn't gone away. And now we just have to go with the flow. Every business owner has to just think outside the box, as annoying as it is, wearing a mask and, you know, the things that we don't want to do. Everybody wants to go back to life, but as of now, we got to find a way on how to keep this contained and kill us. Get done with it.
Okay. So does anybody have, I love the questions that you guys are sending over to us. I do have a question. Can you tell them the difference between an antibacterial soap and an antimicrobial soap?
So antimicrobial is more the hospital grade, where this is meant to kill any like organisms, any, you know, this is
It's
what
like a barbicide, but for soap.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what we recommend. We
Okay.
highly recommend this. And something like this, it's 21 bucks for 18 ounce, but you only need a tiny drop, and this lasts such a long time. I mean, but to be honest, if you can get your hands on antibacterial soap or the antimicrobial, they're both good. What I don't want people doing is just buying any kind of random soap and it's not doing anything. Yeah, as far as cleaning supplies, we have a bunch of them. What are some problems that you guys are facing as business owners?
Let's see what we have with our chat right here. Okay, good deal. Okay, perfect. Nope, everything's good. Nobody has any questions. The great thing about it is you've got Sunaina here, where if you ask questions that she might not know, she'll make sure that she gets that information back over to you.
One thing that I didn't even talk about, which is key, is every business, if your doors are open, you guys should have a no-touch thermometer. No-touch thermometer is huge. You don't want to touch them. They're infrared. You're just scanning them. You need to keep a roster at your business for all the employees. Did I scan them today? Did I ask them the questions? Actually make a log. Everybody's been scanned. But if you have people walking into your establishment, I mean, it's not unheard of. People are doing it all over Inland Empire, all over LA. Everybody's doing it now. You
Okay.
just need to check temperature.
They want to know what you have for upholstery. Tell them how you need to.
So for upholstery, we have, it's a Clorox brand. It's called Disinfectant Biostain and Odor Remover. Can you guys see this? And I'll
Okay.
send you guys.
How does that work? So does it just go in and it evaporates and kills everything?
It does, and it does not stain your clothes. So
Okay.
that's good. It's not staining any surfaces, but you want to put this on here, and this is about a 5-minute disinfectant.
Oh, we need like gallons of that.
Yeah. Well, we have them today, so I don't know how many we're going to keep having, but
What is the one thing that most people are misinformed about that you're setting them straight?
I would say the hand sanitizer is the biggest thing.
Okay.
The biggest thing. Because a lot of people are pulling out hand sanitizer. It smells great, but then you turn it around and it says only 30% alcohol.
Which does nothing.
Which is doing nothing. So when you guys are looking for hand sanitizer, make sure it's 60% and above alcohol content, because then it's doing the job.
Now there are some out there that have like 80% content,
Which is fine.
That's great, but it has to be minimum of 60. Very good.
Right.
Very cool. Okay,
And
wait.
then the main thing is, I guess, the masks. A lot of people think they can just get these masks, and these are equivalent to the N95. They're not.
This is basically a piece of paper in front of your face.
It is. The
So-
N95, you know, if everybody can get their hands on this, this is the best, especially if you're elderly, because it's pinching around. It's supposed to be a really tight fit. You're not supposed to have any room. I'm sure you guys have all seen the pictures of our healthcare workers that have, you know, they're all cut up because they're wearing it so tight. The whole point is nothing coming in, nothing going out.
Which if you wear it tightly, you're not going to get fogged up glasses. I just had to throw that in. So the company, tell them a little bit about the company. I had somebody ask what company you work for.
I work for Sun Medical Supplies. We are a family-owned business that's been around about 18 years now. We specialize in anything with healthcare for our elderly, walkers, canes, wheelchairs, the scooters, down to wound care, diabetic supplies, all of that. As of today, we've completely taken a shift and we've just dedicated a whole area of our business for COVID, for all the personal protective stuff. For
you guys to have that phone number or the website, it's sunmedsupplies.com, or the phone number is 909-307-8090. Okay. They are in Redlands and they are on a directory on our website, which is GCVCC.org. So you can always look that up too. Just put medical and she should pop right up. Thank you, Brandon. Brandon posted the link for you guys, so you guys can go ahead and see that in the chat.
Thank you.
Yes.
We do ship out to all 50 states. So if you have any friends or anything that are not in California, business owners, anybody on front line, police officers, your paramedics, your firefighters, anything like that, we are trying to help right away. We've got stuff put aside for them. We even have doctor's offices, clinics, pain management clinics. Anybody that's seeing patients, have them call us because we want to help them no matter what state that they're in.
What about, do you have barbicide or anything like that? Because I know I have beauty supply that's looking for things like that.
Well, we don't have barbicide, but we have things like the Buckeye disinfectant, which is really good for everything.
Okay. Okay.
And you dilute it.
Okay. So if you guys see anybody who had needs, the great thing is that Sunina has sourcers. So like she said earlier, if there is something that you do need and you can't find it, you call them and let them know and they will start hunting for it for you. So you don't have to do the calls. You're not the one who has to go do that. And then the great thing is because you want it, they now get as much supply as they can so that they can give to others that are probably thinking about the same way as you. Yep. Their shipping is pretty quick as well. I ordered some gloves because I pour a lot of resin. I do art. And they were there. I ordered on Friday and they were there on Monday. So it's a pretty quick turnaround, guys.
As long as we have it in stock, then we can go ahead and send it.
Yeah.
What was I going to talk about? There was something else somebody else was asking me about.
I don't know.
Thermometers we have.
Oh, yes. The touchless thermometers. Do you have gloves? Kelly wants to know if you have gloves.
Yeah, we have tons of gloves. I don't know if I have gloves on me today, but I can bring them back out tomorrow, or we can just send them out to you. The other thing that we do have, which we were getting a lot of requests for, is we have probably 10 no-touch hand sanitizer stands left at our office. So those are good to go. You're not pumping them. We do have both. We have both kinds. But they take the gel foaming sanitizer, they just dispense. It's battery-based. So we do have some of them at our Redlands location. They are going quickly. A lot of the casinos and a lot of the schools have been snatching them up, but we've been getting calls from restaurants, and as long as we have them, they're available.
Okay, so just know that's part of the reason why Sunina joined the chamber, to be honest with you guys. She actually joined the chamber because she knew there was a huge need to make sure that they got the PPE supplies out here. So, as soon as I knew you were out here and she stepped in, she actually helped out too at the Desert Hot Springs City, right? Mm-hmm. Police department, and
we helped with the police department, Desert Hot Springs, Cathedral City, and Indio CHP. We've donated a lot of products to them because our heart does go out to everybody on the front line having to do this. Yeah, whatever we can do for our community, we really want to help.
She is going to be one of our newest board members too. I'm wheeling her in. No, but you guys, I hope this was good information. Did you find it? Kelly says she's going to go ahead and you guys will connect.
Okay.
And then you guys can, because tomorrow's fine, she said.
Okay.
Was this good? Was this informational to where it was a benefit for you guys? Yeah? Can I see more head shaking? Yeah, we just want to make sure that whatever it is you guys are needing, whatever questions you're having, whatever challenges, share it with us, because we might be able to create a solution or give you to someone who can help solve the problem. Okay? I've got people, like, they love you. They love you.
Thank you.
Yeah. we're kind of, Sean, did you want to add anything to this? Because I know that now there's all these different training and you worked with the CDC to build the training. Is there anything that you can think of that you would like to add to this?
No, I think, I mean, all I'll say is that it's really overwhelming. And when I got into this and really looked at the details and what a business has to know, it's so overwhelming and it's so daunting. And there's so much at risk that having the right training and having a group that really has all that information at their fingertips from the ADA, CDC, you know, the Families First Coronavirus Act is a really interesting one that a lot of employers and owners don't know exactly what that is, and it's really important. There's going to be a lot of things when it comes to privacy and health records tracking. You know, all of a sudden, as employers, we're kind of becoming de facto healthcare providers as we're doing things that, you know, healthcare providers were doing. And with that comes this immense responsibility to protect that information. You've got issues of cybersecurity and how you share that health information. So these are things that are really, you know, things we never thought of when we started our business, that we'd ever be doing this. And so to have somebody or a software solution to train you on this and train your employees and know that it's really going to be effective, I just think, I know that's more important than ever. So I just, that's what I would stress upon everyone, is to really consider that, because we're just in a new era, and there's so much at stake. And it's really not only about human survival and safety, but the survival of our business, really.
Yeah, that's what we're all about, making sure that we can breathe new life into this economy. So any information or ideas that any of you guys have, any challenges, again, we will become better with that information. So please don't think you're burdening us. This is necessary during this time. The sharing of information, the exchange of knowledge is necessary for us to rebuild. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I feel like, oh yeah, no. No, it's exciting. I'm glad. Thank you both, Sean and Sanina. And for those who want to learn how to say her name, it's so, the number 9 and the A. Sanina. Yeah.
Feel free to take down my cell phone number. I'm gonna have them put it up on here. I am out in the desert a couple times a week. Feel free to call me directly. We want to make sure we take care of all of our chamber members, give you guys special pricing on anything that you will need. And yeah, all I can say is products are moving fast. We are trying the best that we can to help everybody. So I hope I can help you.
Do you want to let them know the phone number verbally for the video portion?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's 760-464-8900. Very easy.
Yeah, and if I can add just to the group, if anyone has questions and they wanted to even call me personally, I'm happy to answer, you know, regardless if you end up using the training that we offer. I just love helping people, and I've learned so much in seeing all of these, talking to businesses and seeing what's actually happening and looking at all the state, federal, and local laws. I'm always thrilled, especially for members here in Coachella Valley. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to help any way I can.
Thank you. And we just posted your website too, so you guys can see that. We want to make sure, just take down that information. This will be reposted. So if you do know of businesses who were not able to attend today, this will be made available next week. So you guys have the 411 right now. Brandon also just posted Sean's phone number. So write that down. That's the 310 number. Okay. Yeah, Brandon, do you want to add anything?
Oh, I think we covered a lot of information. Appreciate it.
We did. I'm surprised everybody's not going. Sorry. Yeah, well, I think we're good. I wasn't going to go around really and give anybody an introduction. So I want everybody to kind of just digest what they just learned. I hope that's good for all of you. And again, we have our lunch bunch takes place tomorrow at Denny's. We still do have some room left. It is required for you to do an RSVP. So just like this, for you to do an RSVP so that you can get the Zoom confirmation to make sure that you can log on, You also will need to do the RSVP for the lunch bunch to make sure that we have enough space for the proper social distancing. So we have more classes coming. We also have our ambassadors that are reaching out to our businesses so that they can really figure out what topics are needed to help with the training and this whole process of our new procedures. So if you have ideas, let us know. Okay?
Thank you.
I think we're good.
Thanks everyone for attending. Have a great day.
Yeah, thanks so much. You guys are amazing. Bye.